Everyone, and welcome to the Black Eel Podcast. Here are your hosts, Scott and Mike. Now, today's episode, we're going to get right into talking about two trailers. One is the gameplay trailer or story trailer of
Story trailer.
Star Wars Outlaws, the video game. And then we have Joker 2 trailer that just came out as well. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the latest episode of The Bad Batch and the latest episode, 97. And then this week, we'll be ending with a character spotlight, unfortunately, from Mike this week. He's actually been doing good, so I'm kind of proud of him. So let's get right into the trailer and talk about Law. So we talked about this off camera, where personally, we kind of already knew that we were outlaws. The syndicate hates to work with them to kind of get them to leave us alone. That's fine.
I'm gonna be honest. This is kind of laggy at the moment, so you're like cutting in and out. So I'm like trying to having a little bit of a tough time following. But yeah, the we know that the syndicate is going after us. We did something that pissed them off. They also there's hints that obviously the Empire isn't a fan of us either, and that kind of gives the syndicate like we shouldn't mess with them kind of vibes. So they're one of the big time syndicate or just crime bosses in general.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that sums it up
Hires
perfectly.
our character.
The other thing, though, was the character
and
I saw
she betrays him,
where the robot
and
grabs
so now he
and kind of
just wants
throws
his
away.
revenge.
It was a black woman, and
is
it
trying
looked like the
to
character
hunt us down.
from Jedi Survivor. Yes. It was, put it this way, it was so quick that it's not obvious that it was her, and it's not like they made a big point about it either. It was just the fact of
like the one of the Jedi.
it kind of, but it was so quick that it could have been anybody.
I don't.
Like it didn't have to be her.
I honestly don't remember that. So I mean,
Correct. And I don't want to get my hopes up for this game only because the last time I got my hopes up, it did not go well. So
yeah.
I'm not.
Yep, I understand. I mean, it's could be, but I mean, I don't. I can't say that I know for certain.
I don't think we got. I was just no. I was just gonna say I just don't think we got. Like I don't think we got anything from the game.
I mean, Star Wars has been doing pretty good with their games recently, so I mean, I can't. I'm not gonna say it doesn't look bad. I mean, I definitely am interested in the
Which is kind of what's concerning to me.
huh.
Because like it's well no because normally we get to know a little bit more about. I don't care necessarily about the like.
Yeah,
Don't
we
get me
didn't
wrong,
get
the
that
story's
much from
important, but I mean like
Yeah,
normally at this
didn't
point we
get
kind of
enough.
get like gameplay
I agree with
stuff
you.
as
It was
well.
just a
Kinda like
snippet of what was
not
going
happening
on.
yet.
The we're gonna see more as the game gets closer to release, which is
I know,
pretty
but it's
soon.
just
Actually,
weird.
I think.
It's like this has
But
been like the trailer's been playing like nonstop on it, so I'm just kind of like,
why?
but it's really not giving me anything. No, it's mostly on like YouTube and Hulu. It pops up. All right, so now we're gonna talk.
Well, I mean, the game doesn't come out till the end of August, so we still have decent amount of time.
And the potential of possibly
I
Darth
haven't seen
Maul.
much of the trailer aside for the first day it released, so I mean, I can't say that I seeing it nonstop. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm interested in this game. The story and like that story
Uh,
wise, I like being able to
yeah,
see.
no, you're
I
right.
know
You're
we've
right.
talked about this
But
before.
I'm
We like
thinking
seeing
it's
more
like
of the other side of Star Wars,
I don't
not
know,
just
like
the
it's in
Jedi and the
between
Sith.
3 and 4.
So seeing the crime syndicates and what they're going through during the Empire is, I think, is going to be an awesome story. I know a lot of people have been are iffy,
Yep.
and yeah, yeah. Well, depends
Yeah.
on the
So I mean
timeline that
that
this takes place.
to me might be before Obi-Wan, not Darth Vader. Um, to see because I don't think I feel like now that I say that if Darth Maul is alive, he wasn't the crime syndicate person
I mean, it
anymore
could be. I know that they're
because he was kind of floating
they.
around
I know
in
I've
Rebels.
seen
He was the
clips,
old man. The
or
old
it was
man.
she was shown in the trailer too. The Han Solo love interest in
We'll
Solo.
have to wait and see.
She's in the
All right, so let's move on
she's
to
in the
Joker
game. So
2. Correct. So Joker 2, what are your thoughts?
yeah, no, yeah, definitely, it could be.
I also I don't think they're at Arkham. No, no, no. I think he went to Arkham and his release
I mean, he
where
could have
like
gained
he's in a
power
group
and then
home
lost it.
for the insane
You know,
and Harley happens to be there.
we don't. We there's a lot of time between, so we don't know what
Um
happened. Honestly, I wasn't too thrilled with that trailer. I like it had some interesting moments, but honestly, like the I don't know the fact that Harley wasn't
maybe.
actually is actually an inmate in Arkham instead of one of the doctors kind of threw me off. It's
Yeah, I
definitely a
think there's a
different
lot of
take.
unanswered questions.
Oh, you don't think that's Arkham? Okay, yeah,
But I think this is going to emphasis more on just kind of one too, but mental health in general. Like as weird as it sounds, like even though it's a Joker movie, it's not Joker.
oh,
And I know we've
okay. I
talked about
mean,
this before.
I don't know.
This is
I
its
mean,
own little
really
version of
depends
it.
on
Not
how they
hating it,
see the
but
end
it's
of the
not
first Joker,
Joker.
because
You know
obviously
what I'm
with the
saying?
first
Like
Joker,
it's
or with
weird. This
Joker
is this is
one
like if
ending,
Joker
with him
existed
trying,
in our
bashing
world.
the guy, the shrink's head in, and then is
You know what
trying
I'm
to
saying? Like
escape.
that's the best way to
One of the
describe it.
things that was being talked about was that was actually just him hallucinating and not didn't actually happen. So if that legitimately happened, they wouldn't send him to a group home. They would definitely be keeping him in Arkham.
But it makes no more
Uh,
sense.
if that was just, yes, 100%, which we will get answered in the next movie. Hmm.
I
Yeah,
I'm gonna argue on that this piece slightly, and only because this is not the first time they've tried
yeah,
to do this multiple times in the comics. So like I
yeah.
get it. I get what all the character
I
could
mean,
not be
like,
like sympathized with
no, yeah.
fully
This
from
is
because
this is a movie that's
as weird as it
supposed to
sounds, the
emphasize,
Joker is a person,
portray
whether we
mental
want to
health in this country,
right.
in this world,
Like in the end,
and they
Joker is
just
a
chose
person,
to
but he is like
stick
the
it with Joker
worst
because
type of
he
person
has a
for
lot of mental
sure.
issues.
And even if it's not
Uh,
just mental health in general, it's just the
It
fact that
does,
he's
but I
just
mean, the
a
problem
murderous
is that
person.
with
Like
the,
mental health
like,
aside,
it's one of
you know
those
what I
things
mean?
where they're trying.
It doesn't
It's
change
it
the
people
fact that
take it
he's a
badly because they're
monster.
trying to get you to sympathize with Joker when you really can't, and that's where people have an issue with it because
Yep.
yes, he is mentally unstable and has mental problems, but it's one of those.
Yeah.
It's just one of those characters you can't coincide it with because
Hmm.
Yes, I mean,
I agree with you. It's because of what the Joker has done throughout the
mhm.
character's history. It's kind of hard to like sympathy, and I do get that.
Yep,
But this is a tough
yep,
one to. This is a tough pill for people to swallow.
yep.
Not every version of the Joker is the Joker. You know what I'm saying? Like it's as weird as it sounds. Like it's Joker, but it's not the Joker. Like you can have a million variants, and not all. I mean,
Mhm.
there's a variant of
It's
the
one of
Joker
those
that's literally
like
the
I
Red
know,
Hood,
like you
who's a
said,
good
we've
guy.
talked about it plenty of times. Joker's a human, but the problem is that he's one of those human characters that you cannot humanize because he is such a bad person. And you could give him a backstory, which we have with the Killing Joke and whatnot, and whatever numerous stories we have.
Mhm.
But then,
I
I mean, it's just with like it's a tough subject with this particular character.
no, I think the other thing too is it's like this is a comic book for people who never seen a comic book. You know, it's like it's based off of the Joker, a DC character. Like, the
Hmm.
in my opinion, the movie is not made for Joker.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean,
it's a musical.
yeah. I mean, no. I mean, it's just like any other character. We have different kinds of variants. This is just a different take on Joker. It's whether how open people are willing to be, but because like
Also, she's
it's one of
actually a
those things where
really
it's
good
like the
actress
core of the
too.
character is changing, and it makes it difficult. You could have it
I
like
mean, obviously
like
she's a great
I mean,
singer
we've
too,
had
but I
it with
mean,
the
like
Batman and the Flashpoint. You
realistically,
have
like looking for
the
is her
righteous
acting
Batman, and
chops
then you
because
have
she's
the
played
murderous Batman because he lost his family
villains
and snapped.
and
We have the
good
Injustice
guys
Batman.
and like it
I
well.
mean, we have Superman, Superman Red Sun. We have Superman Prime. We have the Golden Boy Superman.
Oh
We
yeah,
have
no, she played a
Injustice
like a
Superman.
vampire killer on a big hit TV show for a whole season. Um, yes, she has the acting chops for it.
Right.
Personally, I just feel like I just worry that she's gonna like. I think the bigger issue is I don't know what we're
Yeah.
like. We know what Joker we're getting because
Yeah.
we don't know what Harley Quinn we're getting because based on this trailer, I'm thinking Harley Quinn's more
No.
of
Yeah. Yeah. No. No. No.
the head
It's a
honcho
mental
in
health
this.
movie with Joker stamped on it. That's it. So, I mean, I like
A
it. So
twist.
back on. I mean, obviously back on topic. I'm interested to see what this movie is going to be.
But
Like
also,
I said,
is
the
it his
trailer
own
just
mental?
weirded me
But
out.
is it also his own mental health that
I
he's
am
thinking
interested in
that when in
giving
actuality it's not? Like that's a whole
Lady
nother
Gaga
thing too that we
a
got to take
chance
into
to
consideration
play
because
Harley Quinn.
that's going to play a
Obviously,
big role
I'm
into
interested to
this
see
too,
what how
and that
these
could
two
be
are
a
going to
mind f in
coincide. I mean,
itself.
it's gonna have like a
This ad,
musical feel because there's supposed to be a ton of singing in it. Um, I'm interested to see how their chemistry works. If
that
no, she is a
don't
very good
we?
actress. Um,
Didn't he actually shoot and kill someone though? Or is that for
I
some
didn't
reason I
realize
was
that
like
she
I don't
played
even know
bad
what's
people.
real now
I've
because I'm
only
like
seen her in
what was
good
real and what
roles.
wasn't, and I'm thinking to myself I'm like I like yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No. Interesting. Okay.
That was more the one I was thinking about. He shot him in the head, right? Question mark.
But
Well, no. What I'm saying is like I know we saw it. I'm like, but was that exactly how it happened? But
hmm
I'm only saying it. Correct. That's what reason why I'm asking is because I just question everything now, just because of the type of movie it is.
seems like she's trying to manipulate him, which is definitely a
Correct.
different take.
And
Yeah.
he actually,
Um, we'll have to see.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, all of this could be. You know, I mean, like I said in
yeah.
the first in
No, and I kind of
the
agree
first
with you on
movie,
that
we
one.
don't know what was real
But
and
yeah,
what was
overall,
not.
I think we're just gonna have to wait and
So
see because I think
that
it's too early.
is
Actually, was a teaser trailer.
that is definitely going to
Um,
be something
so it's
we gotta see
we're
what
not getting a
happens.
lot, and I think we're just gonna have to wait. So let us move on
That
to
I
the
mean,
Bad
yes,
Batch.
the kids were attacking him and he shot them. Yes.
I'll say this. I was just gonna say like it wasn't bad. It just was very
So he
much
shot the
overshadowed
kids.
by what I watched.
He shot the kids and then he shot the TV host. Yeah, right on live TV. Yep.
And then I underhyped the other one.
Yeah, I think so.
And then I underhyped the other
Yeah, I
one
mean, yeah, he was talking to him, and then all
because
of
I
a
was like,
sudden he
well, my
got
whole thing
pissed and
was I was like,
shot him in the
I
head.
had, well, you took too long to watch
That's
it,
what we
all
saw.
right, and I was just like, I was trying to be good because I really didn't give anything away. I just said, hey, did you see it? And I was like, now
Because
he
of the
thinks
type of
seen it,
movie,
and
I
oh, by the
understand.
way, I'm
I
not gonna
mean,
see it till
I was
Friday. And I
emphasizing it.
texted
Like,
you
we don't
what
know what's
Wednesday
real and
night,
what's not.
and I was
We're
like,
going to assume that based
oh
on
no,
the
Wednesday morning,
ending,
and I
he's
was
in a
like,
mental
and he didn't
hospital.
see it, and he's not planning on seeing
Uh,
it tonight, and I'm like, great. He's now
and
going to be sitting
I
there trying
mean,
to figure
the
out,
thought
and
process
he's
is
going to be
that
thinking
all the
like, "Oh my
previous events
gosh,
happened, and
Bad
he is in a
Batch
mental hospital,
and the
and
X
he's
Men are going to be
imagining what
amazing."
it's like to escape.
And I'm like, it was really
It
just
could
one of
have.
them.
I mean, I don't see how if he's handcuffed and locked in place, how he could kill the shrink. But it's the Joker. Who
I get
knows?
that piece. I get it. I understand that. I'm not arguing that piece. What I'm getting at is, it's just like what kills me is it's like I sent the message the next day. Like I didn't do it night up. I was like, I'm gonna see what happens and go from there. And then this is what happened. Just for everyone who knows,
No.
it was basically two stories in this episode for the Bad Batch. One with the M and the one with the Bad Batch. The one with the Bad Batch wasn't that bad.
Yeah, this episode was pretty good. Um,
They're
I kind of
basically they're on the next step to finding out where Taurus is. Taurus.
Yeah, so basically
Taurus.
what happened was because you texted me saying, "Oh
Um,
my god, have you watched Bad Batch and X-Men 97 yet?" I watched Bad Batch first and
which
I'm
I don't
sitting here
remember
like,
him.
"Oh my god, what's going to happen? Something big is going to happen. Something
Oh,
big
he's
is
the
going
one
to
that bombed
happen."
Camino.
So you
Okay,
basically
I gotcha.
overhyped this episode on
I
me
was trying to
without
figure. I was like, I
intentionally
know he's
overhyping
supposed
it.
to remind me of
So
somebody, and I'm like, oh.
I kind of was let down. Like
And they get him to a
yeah,
they get him they basically get help him escape, and they think he has the coordinates to Taurus, and turns it was designed purposely so nobody could. It's not even that. It's the only. No, I was just gonna say like he was the only one that they know for a fact knows about Taurus. No, they don't know for a fact they know about Taurus because he actually sent Nalase Taurus.
listen. Listen. Since when do you watch the episodes right
So
away?
it's not so much
All
it's the only
right?
one they have
I
access
don't want to
to.
hear it.
It's the only one to their knowledge that they know knows about Taurus. I've been purposely keeping it to you anymore. Okay. We have this guy escape, and like I said, we find out that nobody has the coordinates, but supposedly he has this backwater, back road way of figuring out where Taurus is, and they're gonna have to do what he says for
Yep.
him to give him get that information. And he's like, "Oh, don't worry, everyone. We're
Right
working
there.
as a team now."
They were
which is
more.
a
They were
red
all
flag in
the
itself.
Bad Batch was planning what they were due to do with Omega, how to what their next steps were. Tars, Tars, yeah.
Well, it was the same thing with the Death Star, correct?
Um, yeah, I mean, they discussed they did a heist to get the admiral that in season 2 that bombed Camino. He was the
So
admiral.
basically, the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no,
But
he
is he? Wait, is he Grand Moff? Is he point? Because he was called Governor Tarif. Okay.
yep, yeah, they think
Okay.
he is yep, no, he's the one that could possibly get them the location because he's the only one
So
that
basically,
they have
titles
access to.
interchangeably.
Um which he played huh?
Wrong. Correct. No, no, that's fine. I just was questioning that just because it was. It's a little. You know what I'm saying? Because he uses it so interchangeably, it's kind of hard to tell that piece. But I was even surprised that he doesn't know about
That's true.
Project
That's true.
Necromancer.
That is true. Um,
I mean, like, don't get me. I don't think he like even if he was told. I don't think he was told. Like in my mind, like
yeah.
even if he was told about
No,
it,
you
my
are
whole thing
correct with
is
that.
I just don't
And wow,
imagine.
I'm
I
proud
couldn't
of you.
imagine
You
like the
remembered her
emperor not at least saying
name.
it's a very important project, and I
So
would like this to be kept secret. Not that you know what I'm saying. Like I just
oh,
tough one. Well, which is fair. Yep. No, correct.
yeah, the apparently the Empire has in place safety precautions to make sure that no one truly knows where this location is. So you basically have to go through obstacles to get there, and only a select few have the true location. Which is very, very Empire
But he can't at the same time.
typical because it's safety precautions. Um, well, with the Death Star, only a select few people knew what was truly going on,
Well, I mean,
and
he built him like a toy.
people just knew that resources were being shipped somewhere. Other than that, they didn't know
So
what
that
it
was
was
basically
for.
that part of the episode. I mean, there really wasn't
Um,
much like craziness. It was pretty much like self-explanatory what was
I mean,
going
I don't
on. There
think
was no
even. I
like
mean,
major
not even with this,
spoilers.
they really
There was
understand what's
no
going
like
on. I
hidden
mean, we
meanings.
saw in
It
the
was all
episode,
kind of just like there,
Grand
like
Moff
what
Tarkin
happened
is
is
like,
what
"Hey,
happened.
you have
Nothing,
resources that
nothing
are
to kind of
being
even lead
used.
us
What's
into the
with the
next
spending?"
episode, other than the fact that we're going to be doing that guy's plan, whatever it is.
I mean, he's always called Governor Tarkin. He's Governor Tarkin, but he's also Grand Moff Tarkin. I don't know when he becomes Grand
Well,
Moff
I
Tarkin. I
I,
do
I
not
was going to get
know,
to that. So
but
I that I was
the
talking about
titles
just the
are
Bad Batch part, and then when I
coincide.
was the Empire part because it was like too little.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who he's talking to. I mean, as we saw when we were reading the Thrawn
Yeah.
books, he was Grand Moff Tarkin, but
So,
he was also Governor Tarkin.
well, no, but I
I
do get
mean,
what you're saying. So basically, the Empire side was Omega finally arrived. Omega was by Emery, and Emery was
mhm.
realized we're staying the same. They were staying, if I remember right correctly,
Yeah,
though that was the phrase that was used, and that's when the head scientist was like,
yeah,
"Omega, I'm going to
and
show
actually,
you."
yeah, I'm
Every
surprised.
like
Yeah,
she was like, "What's an M count?" And he's like,
again,
"I'm going to show you what an M count looks like." And takes her into the vault and is like, "By the way, you see this? This is the other piece to the puzzle, along with you and your new home." Locking the door behind me, quite literally. I I will agree with you. I Emery seemed way too complicit based
it's
on
one
how
of
we've
the
seen her in the last
so
couple of
here's
episodes. That being
the
said,
Emperor is
I
very
think
paranoid.
she's actually in more control of
He
the
trusts
vault.
Tarkin. he trusts Tarkin,
than
but he
anybody
also
else right
doesn't
now.
trust Tarkin. He knows Tarkin is very manipulative and very smart
And here's
and a
I
planner.
have my
He didn't
reasoning. I
get to
have my
where he
reasoning.
was
When she was
because
given the
he
toy
wasn't
to the
any
youngling,
of those things.
nobody else was
So
around,
although
and
he
nobody seemed to
trusted him
care.
to be in charge of
Maybe that
things,
might
he does
change
not
because Omega,
trust
and
him to
everyone's going to
turn
be
against him.
all eyes on
And
because
that's how it
Omega
is
is
with
the key to everything.
all people that he surrounds
Um,
himself with.
I don't
The
know. We're
only
gonna have
one
to
that
wait and
he
see.
truly
I
knows
when
he
the
can
time
trust,
comes,
but even
everybody's
then,
gonna help
the only one he knows he
escape.
can truly trust is
I just
Vader.
think
But at the same
it's not gonna
time,
happen
he knows
until
the point of Vader.
somehow, some way,
Yeah, he knows the point of
they're
Vader is to
suggesting to
eventually try to
chop up
kill him,
Omega into
but he
parts.
doesn't believe that he has the ability to kill him. So he basically treats Vader as like a
Like
toy,
everything's
you
gonna
know.
be okay because they're just taking some blood samples. That really isn't all that bad. Which, in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things, that is not that bad.
Um,
But based on what they're doing, like that is bad. But I'm thinking it's going to be more the fact that something's going to happen where they're going to try to do something to kind of Omega be like a harvesting tool, and that's when Emery's going to be like, "No, we're not doing this." I think more need to be done first before they're confident that
mhm.
everything is
The
stable
only
before they
thing
move on to the next
that I
stage.
was actually
But
surprised with
closer to
this
moving
episode
on than
is
they've ever
that
been.
Emery kind of just went along with the process.
Yeah.
She didn't try to.
I'm just curious at all of this, just because they're giving us just little bits at a time, and I'm just kind of like everything, because I'm just curious about
I
like
mean,
they keep saying M counts don't
I kind of
stay
assumed you kind of jumped ship
stable,
because you started
but
talking
what
about
bothers
Tarkin.
me is we've
So,
never seen anything that they've tried to.
all right.
You know what
Well,
I'm
either
saying?
way, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what happens when you assume? Fair enough. I get it. I'm just curious. We'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
Oh, 100%. I'm not arguing that piece.
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know. I mean,
Correct. 3. Yeah. No, that was 12. Correct. We have 13, 14, and 15 left to watch, which I would
yeah,
assume that they're
I kind of see
figuring
it
out a
like that
way to
as
get
well.
into Taurus.
Um,
I mean, I'm saying that, but that doesn't mean I'm right. You know what I'm saying? Sounds like that's accurate.
yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else you want to talk about the Bad Batch? Or move on to the big one this week? X97, Episode 5, titled Remember It.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely think that's
And
where this is going at this point now.
can I just say something that I
Um,
didn't say to you already off camera? That supposedly the episode aired on an anniversary date of Gambit
mhm.
saying that same line
No,
to
that is
Apocalypse
true. Very much
in
so.
the X-Men animated series. Yeah. It's when they like break into the facility where the virus was coming in. You know what I'm talking about? He was trying to create. And Gambit comes in. He's like, the name. No, his is like. I think his is. My name is Remy LeBeau. Mon ami, remember it.
I I kind of
Um,
just
but anyway,
assumed that
so this,
they're expecting us
yeah,
to.
well, because I was kind of like wondering
Yeah,
why it
I
was
know,
like
I know what
because they made
happens,
such a
but
big
I'm
deal about
going
it.
to just
Like,
assume that
I
they're
understand
going
the important in the
to
episode,
think that
but
we
like
know
I
about
was
the
wondering
Snoke
why like so many people were
failed
like saying
Snokes,
this is, oh my
and
god, this
that
is the
is the
up
failed
to the animated
clones.
show, and I was like, what are they talking about?
Um,
Because I would have remembered, but it wasn't as iconic.
yeah, I mean, for all we know, in the next couple of episodes, they could show us
Okay,
the process
I've
of
seen a
what
lot.
they've been
I've seen
doing
a
and
lot.
how it's been failing, and
Um,
then once
okay,
Omega's here, it's
so
succeeding.
a lot of things to unpack.
Uh, I mean, we saw
Genosha
a
is part of the
successful
UN,
Moff
but they
Gideon.
thing called a leader.
Uh,
Okay,
so
it's
clearly, at
weird.
some point
The X Men are
from
being
now
interviewed by
to
like
episode
what we
9,
would
they have
consider
succeeded.
People Magazine,
Um,
or Dateline,
the,
depending on how you look at it.
the,
Um,
I mean,
we
the only thing that
we see
in the
first. Can we talk about
Mandalorian
how
season
powerful
3
Jean
is
Grey
he
is?
even said it. He said,
For
"I
a minute.
want Grogu so that way I can get a successful
I know, but
me
it's just
with
like it was
force
so weird
powers."
just seeing her like I'm just
Um,
making like tells right now so I can think about my
so they
memories.
have the cloning success. It's just the middle midichlorian count is breaking down the clones, um, which it would explain why Snoke is always so deformed. But
Or at least being smacked around
we
by
got
something like
what, 4
super
episodes
powerful.
left, 3. So we'll have to see. Um, I'm sure they're going to go into more detail. Next episode is called. What episode are we on? 12 or 13?
Absolutely.
So this is
No, I
13.
absolutely agree with you. I 100% agree with you. No, keep going.
So see, episode 13 is called Into the Breach. That's what I would assume.
That and the other thing too is it's like in the meantime Scott's cheating on Jean with
No, I
Madeline
mean based off
Pryor,
the title, that would be an assumption, but who knows? We could
which is such a weird
they
thing.
could throw a
Which
swerve
is
ball.
such a weird thing because comics he
Curveball.
does do it a lot. He's slept with Madeline Pryor and Emma Frost.
Nope. Let's get to
The
the
white.
let's get to the main event.
Yeah, yeah. It's I
This
don't know what else to
episode
say, but yeah,
was.
um, he's not the greatest person.
Go ahead.
But the all right, can we
Uh-huh.
touch like all right, Scott's a jerk and we know that. And like Scott and Jean's relationship is very but I want to talk about Genosha because like when we see it at its best, we see one character in particular that was a character spotlight of mine.
Really? Oh.
He was the pink guy with the eyes,
Uh huh.
if I remember. But it's like his I don't remember his
Oh. Okay. Huh. Paying homage. Hmm. Yeah. No. I have not seen anything about this episode, to be honest, on Twitter. So. Uh, uh, I mean, all of these characters are powerful in this show. I just think it's with it, so as I've said in the past, I am enjoying seeing these characters at their full potential and not just get smacked around and not be damsels in distress. But it's such a strange, yeah, yes, definitely. But it is just it's also out of place because we know what they were in the original series. That it's like, where did all of a sudden all this power come from? Because it's like, because in the original series, Jean Grey didn't do any of this stuff. So, so it's like, so just out of a side note, like I actually felt guilty for I felt bad for Wolverine because he finally was getting something, and he's like, this isn't right. Like, I'm not supposed to be a part of this. So it's like I'm like, oh my god, like I feel so bad for him. Yeah, yeah. It just, I mean, I know in the comics he's a real jerk, but um, uh, which one? I remember. I didn't remember his name. I know what was his name again. Hmm. No, I know that when they were flashing through all the characters, I'm like, I kind of like, I'm like, okay, huh? Oh, oh, I'm still going. um, I mean, I can't do anything, so okay. I mean,
Okay, it's looking like it's working for me, and for some
okay,
reason,
my
it's
upload
not
is going
working
up.
for you. There it is. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. We're going to be talking about Genosha in more detail now. So Genosha, we got to see all of these new characters we've never seen before, and some old ones. There were actually two characters in particular who weren't introduced until after the 2000s. Character spotlight I was talking about earlier, and Pixie.
Hmm.
The two of them, actually didn't exist in the 90s. Obviously, it's the 90s when these characters are there. We also got correct. I also like the fact that we got to see
Oh, that's good,
the
interesting.
Genoshan Council, which had some very big players in the mutant community. Do you remember everyone that was a part of the council?
I mean, doing a little bit of retcon, but
Well, they were called the Inner Circle because they couldn't be called the Hellfire Club.
yeah, oh yeah.
It
Well,
was
there was obviously
Sebastian
Emma
Shaw
Frost, which we had seen in the
and
original X
Emma
Men show,
Frost.
and the what was that group called?
Then
The
we also
crime group.
there's two more. Actually, there's three more.
Yeah,
There's three more.
it was the leader
Sorry,
of
there's three
Batwing.
more.
Um,
I already put that one up.
yep, thank you. And then obviously we had Madeline Pryor.
Moira.
But yeah, there was Madeline Pryor.
There's two.
There was Madeline Pryor, and then there was
So Banshee.
oh, I didn't. Okay,
So
again the lag.
who's and then Calypso was
um,
from the
then
Morlocks.
there was what's her name?
I know I am. Please tell me again.
Charles Xavier's friend, who was the only human, Moira.
Well, I'll get better in it
Who
because
was the
mine isn't
last one?
having a problem.
Aside from
So,
Magneto.
I'm a jerk.
There's two,
I think it's because I accidentally clicked a button, you jerk.
and I'm
Anyway,
not remembering the other two outside of Magneto.
at all. So my point I'm making is, so we got to see all of this. We got to see the hierarchy
Oh, yep,
of
okay,
all,
yep.
and we kind of see them trying to build up. We
Moira.
also have a religious counselor whose teleporting ability
Right,
is, we keep saying this,
right,
but
right.
like significantly better in this than it was in the original.
Listen, this would be a lot easier if you weren't lagging.
I also like the fact too that we got to see Multi-Man. They were Dazzler.
Coming from the guy who just lost his recording.
I by sight alone, I couldn't tell who they were.
Did.
But also, but it also shows
Yeah,
how
yeah.
to use their powers.
Oh yeah. Oh no! He's just like going all over the place, doing whatever he feels like. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm, whatever.
So so Madeline Pryor and Jean Grey have a psychic link to Cable. He thinks,
Multi-Man
I don't
and
think
what?
he knows who his mother is truly.
That. Oh yeah. Yep.
That
I,
I have a feeling that he knows it's a Jean Grey,
yeah.
but I don't know if he knows like.
I just
So like
liked
when he
the
gets
ability in this
his
episode to
past,
see
I
just
I
all
think
the.
he does the
I mean,
psychic
I know
link
the
in
point
both
of
of
it is
them,
just to
not
see the
knowing which
different
one was
mutants and see the
which
different powers that they
right
had.
away. Which is why he figured it out personally, but I think he had to
It
read both
emphasized
minds
how
to know
big
for
the
sure.
universe actually is, and what how what.
Correct.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Because now they know which one. They now know
Um,
which one was the
no,
mother and which one
I
was
liked the
actually the
little bit that
clone.
we.
So that was
I
like a
like that
whole
little
thing
bit that
too.
we saw before before really
And like
building up
seeing
to
him, seeing sad,
the end. Just
cry out
the
for his
end.
mother before he got shoved back into the.
In terms of between the two of them, or you mean like
Mhm.
know who she is? He just doesn't know which. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Emma Frost. Frost.
Yeah, I mean, reading their minds. I mean, post that, because I was like sitting there like that doesn't really work because their memories are the same, but then after the split, their memories would become different. So That makes sense. Um,
I don't think that was the reason. I think he made it Magneto made
yep.
it very clear that
Um,
they want as their leader, and fear of that piece because it looks bad, especially the
Seeing
fact
what?
that the with is a mutant only nation.
Yeah, that was very. Yeah, no, that like as soon as that scene happened, I'm like, things are breaking down. It's getting things are about to change, and it's gonna be bad. Um, but I just think that I just like that it's jumping back a little bit. Um, I thought it was interesting that the council wanted to make Magneto president of Genosha.
Mhm.
Um, I just thought it was interesting that they chose him of all people. I understand the point, they emphasize like this is Charles' dream. Who better than this controversial figure to try to do good for mutants? Um, I just thought it was in like with Killer Frost and Sebastian Shaw. I guess kind of what did I say? What did I say? Oh, my bad.
I
Emma
I do
Frost.
believe I think the growth was
um,
there, but it was like it wasn't as developed
but
as it was in this for
yeah,
obvious
it's just
reasons.
interesting. Like I could see them because with their
And
shady
I think what
past,
we
they'll be
got to
like,
him
let's
being
just
like
pick him.
he's
He'll
always
be
been a
on our
great
side, kind of
leader.
thing. But
Like regardless of that's never been a question
it's
whatsoever.
interesting that the UN would be willing
I
to
mean,
approve of
this one
this
before.
just because with his change of
Obviously, in this
colors.
universe, it's the first time,
Um,
but not in not like a multiverse. I guess the best way to put it. But seeing him, Rogue, and go with the Juggernaut Sentinel, or phrase it, was incredible. The greatest amount of I have seen in a long time, and
no, I
seeing
mean
so many
yes,
people die,
yes,
but do it
I
so
get
well
that.
the
And then obviously
entire
with his
time.
contingency of only if he would only do it if a fellow X Men would be in it with Rogue, and her inner turmoil for this. It's just really interesting seeing all of these character changes and how they're growing and not so much growing between the two shows. Um, I really love the fact that Magneto is trying so hard to actually be good and honor Xavier. Um,
Uh,
even if it's against
Rogue,
every
Rogue isn't
like even if
Rogue
it's
isn't
killing him with every
Rogue isn't
fiber of
an
his
Omega
being to
level
do it.
threat.
He's I just I love that character change, and
No,
it
you have
adds
to
so
think of it
much.
like this.
It
You got to
adds
think of
so
her
much
power
more to the
only,
universe.
right? Her mutant ability alone.
Um,
Magnetic ability to
I mean,
basically stop
even
the
just
Earth
leading
from
up to what
moving.
happens next, like you just see what like
You
how
know what I'm
much
saying? Like
you see
so,
how
like
much he
Storm
actually
threat.
cares about his
Jean
kind,
Grey is an
and
Omega
it
level
just
threat.
the
Um,
when we're seeing the
Like Rogue and
snippets
Gambit are
of
very
Rogue
powerful. I would
explaining
say
why
they're
she's made the
alpha
decision that she did
potentially.
to
They're
Gambit,
not
and how
Omega
you're
level
looking
threats.
into the past of him suffering from his
Rogue's
memories of the Holocaust.
I was just gonna say Rogue's ability on its be an
You
Omega level
understand him.
threat.
You understand his
She has
motivations,
to absorb an Omega level threat to be an
but
Omega
then you
level threat.
just the like I said, just the change in character and seeing him grow from
Gambit can't
what
be
we're
an Omega
used to
level
in the
threat because
previous
he
episodes,
can't
or
do
just
it
most
to
iterations
like
of
he can't.
Magneto.
He can cause a lot of destruction as
Um,
we could see, but it takes a lot of
I
energy.
just love
It takes a lot of
the I'm
concentration.
such a sucker
Like he
for
can't
character
do it to
growth.
a building easily. Like he can't with that machine. If you took a while for his power to actually completely take it over.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Well, She doesn't have Miss Marvel's full abilities. She just has her super strength and flight. Correct. So it's like it's a weird thing. So it's like what you're saying. She's definitely
Hmm.
physically very powerful. But think of it like this.
Oh yeah.
Wolverine could destroy an entire city on his own. But can't do it as quickly as Magneto could, Jean Grey or Storm. That's why the threat level is different. They all
Oh
have the
yeah.
ability to
No, the
cause
entire
massive
as
amounts
soon
of
as like
destruction.
I said, as
But
soon
I think
as
it determined how
Cable
quickly it
screamed
can be done,
mom,
and like
my jaw was
like I
open
guess you would say
the
like
entire rest of the episode because
the
it just
effort it takes to do
it
so
kept
as well.
they kept increasing what was happening. And I'm like sitting here like this has to be over. This has to be over. And it just wasn't ending. It just continued. And it was just such a shocking moment. And like we said, we had I mean, I don't really know how much of a powerhouse
Well, yeah,
Gambit
but I
really
was also
is
going to say
compared
too, like
to
what I was trying to get out on
Rogue
it
and
is like the
Magneto.
amount of time it would take
Obviously,
Wolverine to
those two
destroy the
are
city
Omega level
would
threats,
feel
whereas
like
Gambit, I don't think
forever. Like if you
isn't
had Magneto in
really
there instead,
as close to that.
like Magneto, he would just have to literally just think about it, and the entire city will be just collapsed. Same thing with Storm
Oh, they don't
and
consider her this
Jean
version of
Grey.
her to be Omega.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm like
Hmm.
said, we're saying the same thing, and I'm happy about it. Like all three of them are very
Yeah.
powerful,
Okay. Yep.
but
Yep. Yep.
out of the three of them, there is only one Omega level threat.
Hmm. Yep. Okay. I mean, just again, it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Uh, I don't. So on that one, she has very good durability. She might have been alive it. I put it this way. Put it,
Hmm.
no, I was just gonna say like what I was trying to get the fact of like she's definitely being out of commission for sure. Like
Yeah.
she ain't
No.
getting
No. No.
up from
I
it,
knew. I
but I
knew.
don't think she's gonna
Like I said,
die
I
from
know
it
Gambit's
necessarily.
powerful. I knew he wasn't as powerful as Rogue or Magneto. I didn't know what power scale they kind of saw Rogue as because again, with Rogue absorbing the ability, I understand that like normally Rogue isn't an Omega level threat, but because in
Hmm.
this universe she has Miss Marvel's abilities, I didn't know if
Correct.
Miss Marvel is considered. Uh, and flying, yeah, she doesn't have the energy projection.
The
Okay,
only I
that's
could
true.
think that maybe he
Um,
survived is somehow Nightcrawler was able to teleport in and then teleport him. That's the only way.
mhm,
And I don't think that's even the case
um,
because Kurt was pretty badly injured.
mhm. Okay. Yep.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
No, nothing happened. So what you're describing is when the eyes look like they were going to blow it up. That's when Remy
Well, I
charges
think I kind of
himself
see it
up,
more. I mean, I think it
like
more.
saying, and that's when it stopped and aimed towards him
I mean,
instead,
I know you
because
said
he
it
at the
you
time
said
was the
it
bigger threat.
already, but
Which,
I'm gonna
in
be like
fairness, he was
Wolverine can destroy a
at that
city,
moment in
yes,
time. He was the
but
strongest threat.
you
So
like
they were then
Magneto,
paying
as you
attention to
said,
him.
Magneto,
Why he got
Storm, and Jean
attacked.
Grey could destroy the planet.
So they actually
That
didn't
like
blow up. Well, I'll say it this way: blown up from the green laser blast. They might have been blown up by Gambit literally blow by or Sentinel.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
No, yeah, that no, you're. I understand what the I understand that now. But yep,
Nothing.
I just thought it was actually really funny. No,
Okay. Here's my question:
not funny, but
do
I
you know
it
what
was
that
such
line
an
is a parallel
interesting
to?
little kind of twist that they did
It's
with
a
that,
parallel to what
where
Wanda says in WandaVision. Finds
when
Vision
Rogue was
chopped
kind
up
of
into little
snapping
pieces.
and she was going to charge after the Juggernaut
When she gets
Sentinel,
to Sword and she
that's when
sees the
it like
Vision's
woke
body
up
is
and was
there,
like Omega
she
level
touch
threat,
him
and
and she goes,
it's
"I
like
can't feel you."
it made us believe that Rogue was Omega level, whereas it was actually only targeting Magneto, and
So
she
the whole
was
idea
just
was she
in
could
the
actually
way.
feel like his literal like
And she would have been
mind,
killed if it wasn't for Remy.
which is why so
Um,
she could no longer feel him. So
but
in that in the show when I forget like what like I forget if it was the mid or if it was towards the end. I forget when it showed, but it was down there and she tries to feel him
either way,
again and she doesn't feel him. It's
I'm
just an
going
empty
on the assumption
it's an
that
empty
that
body. That's supposed to be parallel to what that was supposed to parallel with Rogue and Gambit, which is with me. Well, no,
mhm.
I sent it to you because I was like, it literally is supposed to be a direct parallel between the two,
I
and the
think just
idea
the
was
way
it's
the
because they're
episode
both
was going
lovers,
was that it was
and
killing everything.
like,
So
they
if she
lost the person that
survived,
they cared about, and they could no longer feel them.
it would have
Because the
continued the
idea
attack
was,
until
it's
she
like
died.
as weird as it sounds, they weren't
Um,
able to be
just
together,
as similar
but they
to
were
what
together
was
in a
happening with
different way.
Magneto, it kept attacking because Magneto kept protecting, and until Magneto finally let go, and again, as we talked about on the phone, we don't
No,
know if
well,
he's
here's the
dead.
thing.
I'm going
I
to
don't know
assume
for a
he's dead
fact if
because
it
it
was
would
supposed to
continue to
in
attack
like the
until he
major
was
because it's
dead.
like line by
So
line.
the attack continued until it sensed until it could sense his presence no more. Um, but we also saw in before that whole thing, what Nightcrawler was on the building where all the other civilians were that ended up the building collapsed, or I don't remember the exact thing, but where everyone was going to safety. Huh? Nothing happened. Uh huh. Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 Yeah. I have to say, just at the end of this episode, once everything was done, that I was in tears. Honestly, like I teared up at the end of this episode. They did such a great job hitting you in the feels with that ending, just fading to black and her crying, saying, "I can't feel you," and you're looking at her without her gloves on, actually touching him, and she has the ability to feel him, and she still can't. Like I do not. Yep, I don't remember that. Yeah, Honestly, that makes the image you sent me even more powerful. Yeah, yeah. No, that's it. That's incredible. I thought you were just showing me sending me that because it fit, and no, that's interesting. Okay, but no, that was crazy. Even building up to that, like before, when you're looking at Magneto looking over to her as she's watching him helping helpless as he's trying to protect his fellow mutants. As we talked about before, like that's Magneto's thing. He's the protector of mutants, so he's he's doing anything in his power to make sure everybody that he can protect is safe, and he's trying his best to make sure that what were their names again? The underground mutants. What were their names again? The Morlocks. Like he was trying to make sure that they felt safe even though they weren't. Which, oh, that whole sequence just, like I said, just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Uh, yeah. Like, I just can't say anything else aside from that. Like, again. Okay, well, I guess I'll go into the character spotlight and I'll close it out. So, my character spotlight this week is yet again a um, holiday special. At the time of this recording, the following day, tomorrow, is April 15th, tax day. So, my character spotlight, his name is Tallyman. Tallyman was first introduced in October of 1993 in Batman Shadow of the Bat number issue 19. We have in this comic we see few glimpses provided into the Tallyman's past to reveal a tragic childhood. Starving and living in rags, the boy who was to become the Tallyman lived with his mother and sister, in constant fear of the criminals who threatened the family for money his father had borrowed from them years before. After his father died, those same criminals extorted his weekly fee from the deceased man's wife. The boy begged his mother to not pay, but she tearfully replied, "Everybody has to pay the Tallyman." One night, when the collector came, his mother could not afford to pay, and the criminal beat her. Filled with rage, the boy attacked and brutally killed the money collector with a fireplace poker. The 12-year-old boy was arrested for murder and abused horribly by the others in the boy's prison, who, who then called him Mama's boy. After his release, the boy returned home, and when he returned home, he discovered his sister had died of starvation and his mother had committed suicide, and at witnessing that, his mind snapped. Years later, a figure dressed in strange dark robes of an old-fashioned tax collector emerged in Gotham City, calling himself the Tallyman. Hired by the underworld to collect on debts owed, his fee is not money but human lives. He claims to have killed 66 people since his original victim and prides himself on his rationality. When Tallyman attempts to collect the debt owed by Batman, he battles Azrael, who is standing in for Batman while he recovers from a broken back. Mistaking him for the original, um, Azrael brutally beats and scars Tallyman, leaving him with an even greater hatred for the Dark Knight. Tallyman, sometime later, returns again to collect his debt, only to capture Nightwing, who he had mistaken to be Ezreal, who he mistaken to be Batman. Believing the former Boy Wonder to be the man who had bested him previously. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Although he attempts to torment Batman at a game of Russian roulette, threatening to shoot him with a gun with a single bullet in its 6 chambers while his foe is bound and trapped. This. What? I can see you're bored. uh, Threatening to shoot him with a gun with 6 bullets in it while his foe is bound and trapped. This game buys Grayson enough time to escape his bonds by taunting the Tallyman, subsequently defeating his enemy. Later, Tallyman is seen aiding Two-Face when Gotham City is declared a no man's land after an earthquake as an executioner. He's also one of the villains fighting during the Battle of Metropolis and Infinite Crisis storyline. That is the first iteration of Tallyman. The second iteration, he appears in Detective Comics in 2006. He's in the 1 year later storyline. He's reimagined as a man of African descent. The Tallyman shows up at a household of supervillain Orca and kills her husband Terry Capshaw. Tallyman then shoots private investigator Jason Bard in the arm, and as he is reaching for his gun. While holding Bard at gunpoint, he reveals his name to be the Tallyman, then shoots Jason at point-blank range. At the same time, however, Barb uses his cane to trip Tallyman, whose shot goes into Bard's arm. A struggle ensues, wherein Bard uses his martial arts training, knocks Tallyman unconscious with a swift kick. It is later revealed that Tallyman is the gunman who had killed these villains and others, including the ventriloquist, with Harvey Dent's gun, and is working as an enforcer for the Great White Shark. This is in revenge for a period of time in Arkham Asylum where Two-Face had promised to protect the Great White Shark from danger and did not actively move to do so. This latest version of Tallyman commences his activities during the year Batman is absent from Gotham City, and he apparently spent time at Arkham Asylum. Now he's made other appearances. Like I said, he's been in the novel of No Man's Land. He actually was mentioned in the Arkham Knight video game where a group of thugs are having dinner at a diner, and they mention how they owed money and they didn't want to be confronted by the Tallyman. Apparently, he made appearances in Arrow, the TV show, the CW show. But typically, he is a Two-Face associate and apparently has issues with the Bat family. He's considered a skilled sharpshooter. There have been mentions where criminals are afraid to get hunted down by the sharpshooter, and again with in the newer iteration where he's just going around shooting people. His strength is kind of unknown. Mixed reports. And again, his signature weapon is handguns and machine guns. I thought this was a comical holiday spotlight character. But that's our episode. Hopefully we can get these technical difficulties figured out next week. We will be discussing the latest episode of The Bad Batch. We will be discussing the next episode of X-Men 97. I do not believe we have anything else premiering that next week. I don't think the next I don't think anything new is premiering until Tales of the Empire in May for Star Wars. Um, Other than that, maybe who knows, we might get more trailers. If so, we'll talk about them briefly. But otherwise, hope everyone has a good night. And if you, as we always say, if you made it this far, like and subscribe. We appreciate your time. We hope you enjoyed it. Scott is sitting on the other screen laughing. And thank you so much. We will talk to you later.